how to force your blood pressure down by turning off this one thing. 99% don't know this. I'm about to share with you groundbreaking information derived from brand new research published only weeks ago that holds the potential to dramatically lower your blood pressure. We're talking about a significant reduction, 20, 30, even a remarkable 40 points, and all within a matter of weeks. There exists a crucial control system within your body, a singular switch that, when perpetually stuck in the on position, relentlessly drives your blood pressure to dangerously high levels. This occurs regardless of how many different medications you might be taking to try and manage it. The truly transformative revelation lies in learning how to effectively disengage this switch. Once mastered, your entire cardiovascular system can undergo a profound reset, recalibrating itself to a state of much healthier equilibrium. As Dr. Claire Whitmore, with 2 decades spent as a cardiac surgeon, I've had the privilege of witnessing this profound transformation unfold not just once, but hundreds of times throughout my career. I've encountered countless patients who were relying on 4, 5, or even 6 different medications, yet still struggled to bring their blood pressure under proper control. Their lives were often dictated by the constant anxiety and physical toll of hypertension. However, once these individuals grasped the fundamental understanding of this internal switch and learned the specific techniques to deactivate it, everything changed. Within mere weeks, their blood pressure began to plummet, and within months, their medication regimens were being significantly reduced, or in some cases, even eliminated. This extraordinary shift was solely attributable to their newfound comprehension of what had been keeping that critical switch dangerously locked in the on position for so long. By the time you reach the end of this comprehensive guide, you will possess precise knowledge of what this enigmatic switch is, delving into the 7 distinct physiological mechanisms that contribute to its persistent activation. Most importantly, you will be equipped with 7 scientifically proven techniques, complete with detailed, actionable protocols that you can begin implementing today to confidently turn it off. Before we dive into these life-changing revelations, I urge you to take a moment. Please pause reading right now and share your current blood pressure reading in the comments. Just the numbers will suffice. I personally read every single comment, as understanding your starting point is incredibly valuable and helps me grasp the unique challenges you might be facing. To illustrate the profound impact of this continuously activated switch, let me introduce you to William, a 69-year-old retired accountant, happily married for 40 years with 2 adult children. When he first came to me, his blood pressure was a startling 178/104. William had been on blood pressure medications for a distressing 6 years, gradually escalating from a single pill to 2, then 3, and by the time we met, he was taking a daunting cocktail of 4 different blood pressure medications every single day: an ACE inhibitor, an ARB, a calcium channel blocker, and a diuretic. His previous doctors had exhausted every conventional avenue, experimenting with various combinations and doses, switching medications, increasing dosages, and even adding new classes of drugs like beta blockers. Yet, despite their diligent efforts, nothing truly worked. His pressure might dip, slightly perhaps to 172/100, but it consistently failed to reach the target range, never falling below 160 systolic. The side effects of these numerous medications, tragically, were making his life utterly miserable. The diuretic forced him to urinate almost constantly, sometimes every hour, severely restricting his ability to leave the house without meticulously planning bathroom stops. The ACE inhibitor tormented him with a persistent dry cough that gnawed at his peace of mind. The calcium channel blocker caused his ankles to swell uncomfortably, and the beta blocker left him in a perpetual state of exhaustion. William was not just frustrated, he was desperate, his voice laden with despair as he told me, "I'm doing everything right. I take every pill exactly as prescribed. I never miss a dose. I watch my salt. I exercise when I can. Why won't my blood pressure come down? Instead of inquiring about his diet or exercise routine, I asked William to describe his typical day, focusing instead on his emotional state, his stress levels, and the mental patterns that dominated his waking hours. What he revealed painted a vivid picture of chronic distress. He confessed to waking up anxious every single morning, his mind already racing with worries before he even got out of bed. He fretted about his health, the omnipresent fear of a stroke, his finances in retirement, and the struggles of his adult son navigating a divorce. He would lie there for 20 minutes, his heart already pounding, his thoughts spiraling, before he could even bring himself to stand up. His first action upon rising was to immediately check his phone for news, politics, crime, disasters, a constant barrage of information designed to provoke upset, and it invariably succeeded. By the time he sat down for breakfast, he was already tightly wound. Breakfast often brought small, seemingly trivial arguments with his wife about dinner plans, visiting her sister, or politics. These minor disagreements would frequently escalate, voices rising, tension building palpable within their home. William would then spend his morning consuming even more news, fueling his worry, anger, and general agitation. He would check his blood pressure multiple times a day, and the sight of a high reading would only intensify his anxiety, which, in turn, would push his pressure even higher, trapping him in a relentless, vicious cycle. By afternoon, he was utterly exhausted from the relentless internal tension, yet utterly incapable of relaxing. His shoulders were perpetually tight, his jaw clenched, his mind ceaselessly racing. Evenings offered no respite, bringing more news, more worry, more arguments at dinner, and then lying in bed, his mind refusing to quiet down for sleep. He would finally drift off around 1 or 2 a.m., only to awaken at 5 a.m. with his heart pounding, initiating the entire exhausting cycle once again. This had been William's existence for years, and his blood pressure, tragically, mirrored it perfectly, constantly elevated, stubbornly refusing to decrease, perpetually stuck. I carefully explained to William the profound physiological processes occurring within his body. "William," I began, "your blood pressure medications are, in fact, working precisely as they're designed to. They are performing their intended functions. However, there is a powerful, overarching system in your body that is actively overriding their effects. This is a fundamental control system responsible for regulating your entire cardiovascular function. And in your specific case, William, this system has been running at maximum capacity, on overdrive, for years. It's as if your body is perpetually stuck in an emergency mode, a state of constant alarm. When this system is activated, it doesn't just nudge your blood pressure higher, it actively elevates it through no less than 6 distinct physiological mechanisms, all operating simultaneously. Your medications, while effective, are attempting to counteract all 6 of these powerful mechanisms at once, and unfortunately, they simply cannot win against such a concerted biological assault. William appeared utterly confused. "What system? What exactly are you talking about?" I clarified. "It's called the sympathetic nervous system. Most people are familiar with its more common name, the fight or flight response. This is your body's innate emergency alarm system, exquisitely designed to activate instantly when you perceive genuine danger, a bear chasing you, a sudden car accident, a real threat to your survival. When this system abruptly engages, it triggers a cascade of immediate and powerful physiological changes. Firstly, I elaborated, it prompts your adrenal glands to flood your bloodstream with potent stress hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. These chemicals compel your heart to beat much faster and significantly harder, pumping a greater volume of blood with each contraction. This directly increases your cardiac output. Secondly, these same powerful hormones cause your blood vessels throughout your entire body to constrict. Your arteries and arterioles tighten up, dramatically increasing resistance to blood flow. More resistance, as you can imagine, necessitates higher pressure to push blood through, thus elevating your overall blood pressure. Thirdly, your sympathetic nervous system initiates the activation of the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, a complex hormonal cascade that originates in your kidneys. When this system is activated, it instructs your kidneys to retain more sodium and, consequently, more water. This leads to an increase in your total blood volume, Picture it like this. More fluid within the same sized pipes inevitably leads to higher internal pressure. Fourthly, and critically, sympathetic activation actively suppresses your parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic system is the polar opposite. It's your rest and digest system. When it's engaged, your heart rate naturally slows, your blood vessels dilate, and your blood pressure gently drops. But the sympathetic activation essentially turns off this vital braking mechanism. You're left with an all-accelerator, no-brakes scenario. Fifthly, chronic long-term sympathetic activation escalates the production of cortisol, your body's primary long-term stress hormone. Elevated cortisol levels raise blood sugar, increase systemic inflammation, and unfortunately make your blood vessels even more sensitive and reactive to pressure-raising signals. Sixthly, sustained sympathetic activation eventually leads to insulin resistance over time. High insulin levels, in turn, signal your kidneys to retain even more sodium, adding yet another powerful mechanism that relentlessly drives your blood pressure upwards. So, you see, William, when your sympathetic nervous system is stuck in this activated state, you have 6 distinct interconnected mechanisms, all conspiring to push your blood pressure higher, simultaneously and powerfully. Your medications, even the best ones, might succeed in blocking 1 or perhaps 2 of these mechanisms, but they simply cannot counteract all 6. That's unavoidable net result is that your blood pressure remains stubbornly elevated despite your best efforts with medication. Now, here's the absolutely critical insight, I continued. This incredible system is designed to activate only briefly during genuine, life-threatening emergencies. Think of a scenario where a wild animal is chasing you or you're involved in a sudden car accident. Real, immediate danger. The system kicks in, empowering you to handle the emergency, and once the danger passes, the system is supposed to deactivate, returning your body to a state of calm. That's its optimal design. Brief, powerful activation, followed by swift deactivation. The profound problem arises when this finely tuned system becomes perpetually stuck in the on position. This happens when it's activated not just during rare emergencies, but chronically, all day, every day. And William, that is precisely what has been happening to you for years. Your chronic stress, your constant worry, your poor quality sleep, the inflammatory diet, your lack of consistent physical activity, your relentless news consumption, and those daily arguments, all of these factors collectively conspire to keep your sympathetic nervous system continuously activated. For you, William, your sympathetic system was operating at an alarming 80 to 90% capacity from the very moment you woke up until you finally fell asleep. Sometimes it was even active during your sleep. We're talking about 18 to 20 hours a day of incredibly high sympathetic tone. And no amount of blood pressure medication, however potent, can ever fully overcome such a profound and persistent biological override. I assured William that I would teach him 7 specific, scientifically validated techniques designed to disengage his sympathetic nervous system to effectively flip that switch from its damaging on position to a restful off state. These aren't merely generalized relaxation tips or vague stress management suggestions. These are precise physiological interventions, each with measurable effects in reducing sympathetic tone and significantly increasing parasympathetic tone. Their efficacy is rooted in specific mechanisms that have been rigorously proven through extensive research. Before delving into these transformative techniques, it was crucial for William to understand a vital distinction. There are 2 fundamental types of sympathetic activation, acute and chronic, and each requires a different approach for resolution. Acute sympathetic activation is what occurs during a sudden, intense stress event, such as a heated argument, receiving shocking bad news, or a near-miss car accident. In these moments, your sympathetic system experiences a sharp, powerful spike. Your heart races, your blood pressure surges rapidly. This spike typically lasts for minutes to a few hours before naturally subsiding. The techniques for acute activation are essentially emergency interventions designed to immediately and decisively shut down that sudden spike. Chronic sympathetic activation, on the other hand, is a fundamentally different challenge. This is characterized by an elevated baseline sympathetic tone that persists all day, every single day. Even when you're simply sitting quietly, doing nothing overtly stressful, your sympathetic activity remains higher than it should be. Your body is locked in a constant state of low-level emergency response, a silent, unceasing internal alarm. The techniques for chronic activation are, therefore, daily practices, consistent actions you undertake over weeks and months to gradually reset your entire baseline nervous system tone. To achieve optimal results, you need both acute techniques for those unexpected, sudden pressure spikes, and chronic techniques to lower your overall baseline, thereby ensuring that spikes occur less frequently and with reduced severity. I asked my audience to consider which type applied to them, inviting them to comment acute, chronic, or both to help understand their personal situation. Let me now introduce you to the first technique for acute sympathetic shutdown, arguably the fastest existing method to disengage sympathetic activation, often yielding results within a remarkable 10 to 30 seconds. This is known as the diving reflex reset. Understanding its mechanism reveals its profound power. When you immerse your face in cold water, particularly when the cold water makes contact with the sensitive areas around your nose, forehead, and eyes, it triggers an ancient, hardwired reflex embedded deep within your nervous system. This remarkable reflex is common to all mammals, aptly named the mammalian diving reflex, or simply the dive response. Its primary evolutionary purpose is to protect you from drowning when submerged underwater. Upon activation, several instantaneous and automatic physiological changes occur. Firstly, your heart rate dramatically plummets, frequently dropping by 20 to 30 beats per minute within just 10 seconds, a phenomenon known as diving bradycardia. Secondly, blood vessels in your extremities, your arms and legs, constrict significantly. This vital mechanism diverts and preserves precious blood flow for your most critical organs, your heart and brain. Thirdly, and most crucial for blood pressure regulation, there is an immediate and massive shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic nervous system dominance. Your body instinctively interprets the cold water on your face as a clear signal of immersion underwater, promptly switching into a conservation mode. The sympathetic system abruptly shuts down, while the parasympathetic system activates with potent force. The inherent beauty of this reflex lies in its automaticity. It is not under conscious control. You cannot simply decide whether or not to activate it. If you submerge your face in cold water, the reflex will unequivocally trigger, making it incredibly reliable. Unlike techniques that demand intense mental focus or extensive practice, the diving reflex works consistently every single time in every single person. However, the efficacy hinges on one crucial factor. The water must be genuinely cold. The colder, in fact, the better. Room temperature water will not suffice. You require truly cold water, with ice water being the ideal choice. The intense cold temperature is integral to strongly triggering this ancient reflex. Furthermore, complete facial immersion is necessary, not just a casual splash. The reflex demands sustained contact with those specific facial areas, your forehead, the bridge of your nose, and the regions around your eyes, as these areas possess the highest concentration of cold, sensitive nerve endings responsible for initiating the response. To vividly demonstrate the power of this technique, consider Dorothy, a 71-year-old woman who suffered from debilitating anxiety-driven blood pressure spikes. The slightest worry would send her pressure soaring to alarming levels, 180, 185, sometimes even 190 over 105 or 110. These spikes were utterly terrifying for her. She would feel her heart pounding frantically, an intense pressure building in her head, which would only exacerbate her anxiety, propelling her deeper into a vicious cycle. She had been rushed to the emergency room 3 times, convinced she was having a stroke. Each time, they would administer intravenous medications to lower her pressure, then send her home with instructions to follow up with her doctor, offering no lasting solution. I introduced Dorothy to the diving reflex reset. "Dorothy," I instructed, "the very next time you feel a spike beginning, the moment you sense that anxiety and pressure building, I want you to go immediately to your kitchen or bathroom. Fill a large bowl with the coldest water you can get from the tap, adding ice if readily available. Bend over the bowl, take a deep breath, hold it, and then plunge your entire face into the ice water. Keep your face submerged and count to 15 in your head. Then slowly pull your face out." Dorothy looked at me with an expression of utter disbelief. "Sticking my face in ice water is going to lower my blood pressure. That sounds absolutely ridiculous." I patiently explained the diving reflex, the automatic, powerful parasympathetic activation it triggers, and the scientifically proven drop in heart rate and blood pressure. "Just try it once, Dorothy," I urged. "Just one time. You will feel it work, and then you'll possess an invaluable tool you can use anywhere, anytime, to regain control." 2 days later, Dorothy called me, her voice filled with a mix of shock and exhilaration. That morning, she had experienced a familiar spike, anxiety mounting, pressure in her head, her heart racing uncontrollably. But instead of succumbing to panic and dialing 911, she remembered my instructions. She rushed to the kitchen, filled a large mixing bowl with cold tap water, added half a tray of ice, cubes, bent over, took a breath, and plunged her face in. The initial shock of the cold was intense, making her instinctively want to pull away, but she forced herself to remain, counting to 15. As she pulled her face out, water dripping, she immediately felt it. Her heart, which had been pounding at 110-115 beats per minute, slowed dramatically. The frantic pounding subsided, the pressure in her head dissipated, and the overwhelming anxiety, which had been at a terrifying 9 out of 10, dropped to a manageable 4. Drying her face, she immediately checked her blood pressure. Before the ice water, it had been 182/108. A mere 30 seconds after the immersion, it read 156/94, an astounding 26-point systolic drop in half a minute. Dorothy was utterly stunned. She repeated the process, another 15-second immersion. Her pressure then read 148/88, an additional 8 points down. After a third immersion, her pressure settled at 142/84. In approximately 3 minutes total, she had brought her blood pressure from 182/108 down to a much safer 142/84. She called me, crying, not from distress, but from profound relief. For the first time in years, she had found a tool that truly worked, something she could do herself, something that gave her an immediate sense of control. Over the subsequent months, Dorothy utilized the diving reflex reset dozens of times. Every single time she felt a spike starting, the ice water worked, consistently bringing her pressure down by 15 to 30 points. What was even more remarkable was the secondary benefit. After a few months of having this reliable tool at her disposal, her anxiety about spikes significantly decreased. Simply knowing she could halt a spike made her less anxious in general, and less baseline anxiety, in turn, meant fewer spikes occurred in the first place, transforming her vicious cycle into a positive, empowering one. While you may not be able to perform this technique immediately without cold water, I strongly encourage you to try it after finishing this video. Experience the profound shift firsthand. The protocol is straightforward. Fill a large bowl with the coldest possible water, add ice, bend over, take a deep breath, and plunge your face in for 15 seconds, ensuring your forehead and eye area are thoroughly wet. Pull out, breathe normally, and repeat up to 3 times if necessary. Each immersion typically yields an 8 to 15 point drop, potentially totaling 25 to 40 points in just a few minutes. Safety is paramount. If you have heart rhythm problems or glaucoma, consult your doctor beforehand. For severe lung disease, breath holding might be difficult. For most individuals, however, this technique is perfectly safe. Next, let's explore the second powerful technique for acute sympathetic shutdown, the Valsalva reset. This maneuver is so effective that cardiologists routinely employ it in hospitals to terminate certain types of abnormal heart rhythms, and it's equally potent in rapidly reducing sympathetic tone and blood pressure. Here's a detailed look at how it works. You begin by taking a deep, full breath, completely filling your lungs. Then, you hold that breath and bear down hard, as if you are trying to have a very difficult bowel movement. This forceful bearing down is known as the Valsalva maneuver. When executed correctly, it creates significant pressure within your chest and abdominal cavities, which triggers a series of simultaneous physiological responses. Firstly, this internal pressure compresses the major blood vessels surrounding your heart, your aorta, venae cavae, and pulmonary vessels. Within the walls of these compressed vessels are specialized pressure sensors called baroreceptors. These baroreceptors are integral components of your body's intricate blood pressure regulation system. When they detect this sudden elevated pressure, they send urgent critical signals to your brainstem, effectively communicating, "Pressure is too high, dangerously high, lower it immediately." Your brain responds to these distress signals by powerfully activating your vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the primary conduit of your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest counterpoint to the fight or flight response. When the vagus nerve is activated, it releases a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine throughout your cardiovascular system. Acetylcholine acts as a direct command, instructing your heart to slow its rhythm, telling your blood vessels to dilate and relax, and crucially, shutting down sympathetic activity. The combined result is immediate and profound. Your heart rate drops, your blood pressure falls, and the hyperactive sympathetic system effectively turns off. However, a common mistake with the Valsalva maneuver is insufficient effort. Many people perform a weak, brief strain for only 5 seconds and then wonder why it doesn't yield results. For the Valsalva to effectively activate the baroreceptors and trigger a robust vagal response, you need to maintain significant, firm pressure for at least 15 seconds, with 20 seconds being ideal. It's about strong, sustained pressure, not a maximum, dangerous strain, but a consistent, forceful bearing down. Consider the case of Robert, a 68-year-old man whose blood pressure would consistently spike during stressful situations. Heated arguments with his wife, tense phone calls with his insurance company, or upsetting news reports would invariably send his pressure soaring to dangerous levels. 185, 190, sometimes even 195 over 100, 105, or 110. These acute spikes were not just uncomfortable, they placed him at a significantly elevated risk for stroke in those very moments. I taught Robert the Valsalva reset. "Robert," I explained, "the very instant you feel a spike beginning, the moment you sense stress building and your heart starting to race, you must stop whatever you are doing. If you're on the phone, politely ask them to hold. If you're in an argument, pause the conversation, immediately sit down, take a deep, full breath, completely filling your lungs. Then hold that breath and bear down hard, tightening your abdominal muscles as if you are attempting a bowel movement. Create strong internal pressure in your chest and belly. Hold that pressure firmly. I want you to count to 20 in your head. Do not give up at 10. Do not release at 15. Count all the way to 20. Then gently release and breathe normally." Robert had the perfect opportunity to practice this during a particularly frustrating phone call with his health insurance company. They had denied a claim he believed should have been covered, and his frustration was escalating rapidly. He found himself arguing with the representative, feeling his face flush with heat, his heart racing. Recognizing the onset of a pressure spike, he calmly told the representative, "Hold on one moment, please," and set the phone down. He sat in his chair, took a deep breath, filled his lungs, held it, and bore down hard, counting internally. At 10 seconds, he reminded himself to keep the pressure. At 13 seconds, it was uncomfortable, but he persisted. At 16 seconds, his chest felt tight, yet he maintained the pressure, pushing through to 20. Upon releasing and breathing normally, he immediately noticed a profound shift. The intense anger that had consumed him was gone. The overwhelming frustration had subsided from a 9 to about a 4. His mind felt clearer, allowing him to calmly finish the phone call, presenting his case without succumbing to upset. After the call, he checked his blood pressure. Prior to the Valsalva, he knew it had been 188/106. He checked it mid-argument, which only fueled his distress. After the maneuver, it read 162/94, an impressive 26-point systolic drop. While still elevated, it was dramatically better, and the emotional reset was as invaluable as the physical pressure drop. Robert integrated this technique into his routine, consistently using it whenever he felt a spike approaching. It became an automatic response, working reliably every time. Combined with the diving reflex, he now possessed two formidable tools for managing acute pressure spikes. For those cleared to try it, I invite you to practice the Valsalva maneuver now to understand its sensation. Important safety warnings. If you have heart disease, glaucoma, or hernias, you must skip this exercise as the straining can be dangerous. For others, sit comfortably, take a deep breath, hold it, and bear down for a full 20 seconds, feeling the pressure in your chest and belly, then release and breathe normally. You will likely feel your face redden and your chest tighten, but afterward, you'll notice a distinct slowing of your heart rate, a direct sign of vagal activation and parasympathetic engagement. This technique can effectively drop your pressure by 20 to 30 points during a real spike. The protocol is simple. Sit, deep breath, bear down for 20 seconds, release, breathe normally for 30 to 60 seconds, and repeat up to 3 times if needed. The third crucial technique for acute sympathetic shutdown is specifically tailored for panic and anxiety-driven spikes, the 4 to 7/8 emergency breath. Developed by Dr. Andrew Whale and extensively studied for its powerful effects on the nervous system, this technique utilizes a precise timing sequence to rapidly disengage sympathetic activity and activate the calming parasympathetic system. Here's how it works. You inhale gently through your nose for a count of 4. You then hold your breath for a count of 7. Finally, you exhale completely through your mouth, making a gentle whoosh sound for a count of 8. This specific timing creates several physiological effects. Firstly, the breath hold after inhaling allows a slight, harmless buildup of carbon dioxide in your blood. This mild CO2 increase triggers what is known as the relaxation response, signaling your body to calm down and slow its metabolic rate, an inherent survival mechanism. Secondly, the extended exhale of 8 counts, which is twice as long as the 4-count inhale, a 1.2 ratio, powerfully stimulates your vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is most intensely activated during exhalation. Thus, a longer exhale leads to stronger vagal activation, creating profound parasympathetic dominance. Thirdly, exhaling through pursed lips creates slight resistance, which prolongs the exhale and enhances the activation of your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is intrinsically connected to your vagus nerve, meaning robust diaphragmatic activation directly translates to powerful vagal activation. The synergistic combination of these 3 elements, the precise breath hold, the extended exhale, and the resistive mouth breathing, results in one of the most potent breathing techniques available for rapidly shutting down panic and acute sympathetic overdrive. Let's illustrate its effectiveness with Margaret, a 73-year-old woman plagued by severe health anxiety. Any unusual physical symptom, a fleeting chest twinge, a momentary spell of dizziness, numbness in her hand, would immediately trigger intense panic.